Hi, everyone. Welcome to this webinar, Your Last 20 Pounds of 2022. This is to lose weight and gain life. Okay, so let's see. So first of all, I would like you to, what's happening here? Yes, I would like to know if this is you. Okay, so think about if you are one of these types of person that I'm going to show you right now. Okay, so if you have all or nothing mentality when it comes to dieting, so either you do it perfectly well or you let it go completely. If you're exhausted from trying things that only work temporary, if, oops, what's happening here? If you're snacking or stress eating every night, promising yourself that you're going to do it better tomorrow, if you feel that you know what you should be doing, but you are actually not doing it, and if you've tried willpower and it doesn't work. Also, if you have a love-hate relationship with food, I mean, you love the taste, but actually you can see that it causes gain weight. Okay, so if this does resonate with you, this masterclass is for you. Okay, so first of all, remember your time is important, but remember that the main commitment is with yourself. Okay, so let's use your time wisely. So turn off your mobile, close all open tabs, and tell your family you're going to be away for the next 45 minutes, more or less. It usually takes a little bit less. So this is what we are covering today. We're going to cover how to stop overeating to lose weight permanently, the 3 reasons why we overeat, and the solution for those reasons. And at the end, I'm going to open a space for the Q&A. Okay, this is 3 keys because actually the solution of those 3 reasons are the key to lasting weight loss. Okay, so what is actually overeating? Overeating goes beyond binge eating. Okay, overeating is when you are eating when you are not hungry, when you are eating just because it tastes good, when you are mindlessly snacking, when you're stress eating, when you're eating beyond enough, when you are boredom eating or anger eating. You can add whatever emotion you want. Okay, when you are eating just for fun, when you're finishing your plate, even if you are no longer hungry, when you're eating because everybody is eating, or when you are eating to soothe loneliness, when you are eating to pleasure others, or you are overeating healthy foods. Okay, so just have a look at all those situations and see how many of those you can see yourself. Okay, and before starting, just let me tell you something. It's not your fault. You are not broken, okay? So it's not that you are failing diets. Diets failed you, okay? Diets are really prepared to help to lose weight, but temporary, not lasting. They are not made to help you lose weight in the long term, okay? And there's also social conditioning. And this is also something that we are going to talk about. With social conditioning, I mean, all the ideas that we have around food, what it's normal to eat, how much enjoyment we should get from eating, and so on. Okay, so all these are influencing in our weight. Okay, so first of all, for those who doesn't know me, I am Laura. I am a wife and mom of 2 lovely boys of 2 and 7 years old. I am a family physician, and I am also a certified life and weight loss coach. And during my 15 years in the medical practice, I have got a lot of hundreds of patients who wanted to lose weight. Most of them had already some diseases related to that weight, to that overweight, which are, for example, diabetes, hypertension, and so on. And they were trying everything to lose weight. So they have tried diets, nutritionists, pills, shakes, whatever. And I can tell you, almost all of them reached to lose their weight. And with this, their medical conditions, their diseases were improving as well. But the problem was always the same. After some months, or for those who went into surgery after some years, in this case, they were gaining all the weight back. And with this, they were worsening all their previous conditions. Okay, so there's really a missing piece. And this is what I have been looking for. I have been researching, studying a lot to see what was that missing piece. And this is what I have found finally. And this is what I'm going to show you today. So my purpose, what I do right now, it's actually helping women with insulin resistance specifically, but I can help anybody, any woman that wants to lose weight forever. Okay, so when you go to the doctor, they usually tell you this. If you want to lose weight, go on a diet. And not only the doctor, you know, so this is very popular. And actually, that's a myth, because diets can only help you to lose weight temporarily, okay? They will also tell you things like this. You're overweight because you're overeating, and therefore, all what you have to do is to eat less, right? So it's like the approach, the current approach for weight loss, it's like treating overweight as the symptom, okay? So it's like treating a broken arm with painkillers, you know? So of course, there's going to be a relief of the pain, but the reason, the root cause of the problem of that pain, it's that you have a broken arm. And this broken arm requires a whole complete different approach, okay? So the question that we should ask ourselves to get to that root is, why are we overeating? And there are three main reasons why we overeat, okay? So we can overeat because we feel over-hunger, which means that we feel more hungry than we should. And this is due to a hormonal imbalance. I'm going to talk about each one of those just in a second. We can overeat because we feel over-desire. This means that our brain gives more importance to food than it should. And this is because of our modern eating patterns. And then we also overeat because we are emotional eaters, which means that we are using food to cope with especially negative emotions, but also positive. Okay, so let's start with the first one, over-hunger. It's when you say, I am always hunger. I am eating my meal and 2 hours later, I am still hungry. This is possible, actually. Okay, but first of all, we have to distinguish between physical hunger and emotional hunger. And the answer, we are going to find it in our body. So when we experience physical hunger, we are going to feel something in our body, especially in the area of the stomach. We are going to feel like the stomach eating itself. We can also hear some bowel movements, or we can feel how it moves. We can also have some mental symptoms like loss of motivation, loss of concentration, or even lethargy. Or we can also have hangry, which is feeling irritable just because we are hungry. Okay, so the reasons why we are over hunger, it's because this is something that I see more and more. We are lacking of nutrients, and this is because we are eating what we are eating right now, which is a lot of processed food, which is very high in calories, but zero nutrients. And also I see this a lot with people that are restricting diets. Okay, so they are not getting, or the approach that they are choosing, it's not completely balanced. Okay, and the hormone that it's responsible for this overhunger, it's insulin. Okay, I'm just going to talk very briefly about insulin because I think that it's important. Because if you understand how it works, you will also understand why we do the things we do, and it's going to help you to stick to what we have to do to lose weight, right? So every time we eat, okay, our pancreas is going to release a certain amount of insulin, okay? So that insulin, what it does, its main role is to balance the blood sugar levels. And how it does this is by taking the energy that it's in the bloodstream, so the molecules of glucose, and putting them inside the cell so that the cell can function. Okay, so once insulin has distributed all the energy and all the cells have all the energy that they need, the extra energy that is still in the bloodstream, insulin is going to take that energy and it's going to store it in form of fat in the liver and in the muscles and other organs, but basically those two. And this is going to happen. Insulin does this because it's the only way that we can have access to the energy when we are not eating, which is happening every time when we are sleeping, for example. So during the night, we are sleeping, but our bodies are still functioning. Okay, so especially our liver and our kidneys are working a lot during the night, but also our brain, our heart, our lungs. Okay, so the energy is required. However, there's not that energy in the bloodstream because we are not eating, but our body is going to tap into those fat stores to convert again that fat into energy that it's going to be released in the bloodstream. Okay, so there are two factors that increase that insulin. Okay, and this is important because too much insulin in the bloodstream, it's the cause of the obesity pandemics. So we want to lower those levels of insulin. So the two factors that increase insulin in the bloodstream are, first of all, eating sugar and flour regularly, because this is going to provoke more hungry in terms of intensity, but also in terms of frequency. And it can also provoke this kind of dizziness if you're not eating, okay? And if you can see yourself there, it's because you have become a sugar burner, which means that your body now it's used to use sugar. And when I say sugar, I only say flour, or which is coming from refined grains, and all which is processed, of course. Okay, so your body is now used to use that as the main fuel because it is metabolized much faster and much easier for it. Okay. So what happens when you are hungry all the time? You are going to eat all the time. So this is the second factor. It's a snacking. Snacking will keep these insulin levels increased. For example, here you can see an example of, here we are only talking about 3 meals per day. Okay, you can see breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And you can see that even if you can have breakfast just in 10, 15 minutes, but the time your insulin is going to be high in the bloodstream, it's about not less than 2-3 hours, right? So during this time, you are storing fat and of course not accessing the fat that you have stored to burn it. So you cannot lose weight while you are snacking. So the more you snack, the more you help that insulin to be present in the bloodstream. Okay, so that means that basically you can only tap access to that fat store while you are sleeping. But honestly, even if there are, I don't know, here it's about 10 hours of fast, you cannot burn a lot of fat during that time. Okay, so our body is definitely not designed to eat sugar all the time and to eat regularly. Okay, so the solution for overhunger: become a fat burner again. So this is actually how our bodies were designed, to be fat burners. You just have to remember of our ancestors. They were eating once in a while, right? So they were eating now, and maybe there's going to be a lapse of time of 3 weeks where they were not having access to that food. So our body, it's very intelligent and it's already ready to this. And when I say this, I'm not telling you that you should do this. Just let you know that it's how we are designed, okay? So how we become a fat burner, it's by stimulating the insulin as lower as possible. So what you have to do is, first of all, reduce drastically your consumption of sugar which means processed food, and also flour. Okay, so all which is made by refined grains, or which is basically it's bread, pizza, pasta, rice, and so on. Okay, avoid snacking. So I would make maximum 3 meals per day. Start with this. And then ideally intermittent fasting. But again, I don't know exactly your situation, but I don't recommend you to do all the three things once, at the same time. You have to start slowly, okay, every time, and see, also checking with your body how it feels. This is very important, okay? Because our body needs a time to adjust to all those changes, okay? So don't be in a hurry to lose weight, because if you want to lose weight permanently, it takes time. It doesn't matter, it takes time, but the most important is not to gain it all back. Okay, so here's a testimonial of one of my first clients that I had in the very beginning. Okay. Second, over desire. This is when you say, oh, I love food too much. This is going to be very difficult for me to lose weight because I love food too much, right? So we know that desire comes from pleasure. So it's impossible to feel desire for something that you have never experienced, okay? But where does pleasure comes from? That's the question, okay? So there are three ways to create that pleasure. First of all, it's from the pleasure of eating, the act of eating in itself. And this is actually what is happening. Every time we eat healthy food, there's a healthy release of dopamine. Dopamine is a brain molecule. It's a neurotransmitter. And it's going to provide this reward. So it's going to give us this sense of security, well-being. It's going to give us that pleasure, okay? So our brain is going to record that experience. It's going to create some thoughts about that experience. And those thoughts are actually the desire to eat again. So this is, again, how our body was designed for, okay? This is for ensuring our survival. Because if we are not getting a little bit of pleasure of eating, maybe we could forget this. So for ensuring this, our survival, our brain is going to release this reward, okay? The problem is that nowadays we are not eating this, okay? We are mostly eating things like this. And when we are eating, again, or which is made by sugar, flour, high fat, so processed food and also flour, our brain is going to freak out. There's going to be a release of a bunch of dopamine, okay, that it's going to provide our brain with this over reward, okay? And our brain is going just to, it's like our brain has not been designed for that amount, feeling that amount of pleasure. And it's going to create this unwarranted urgency for food, which is the over desire, okay? So the more you eat this, the more you want to experience this again, okay? And you're not going to create an over desire for broccoli or chicken breast. You're going to create an over desire for this kind of foods, okay? So it's totally normal if it's happening to you. It just means that you have been conditioned by practicing over and over this yourself to feel an over desire for food, okay? Good news is that this is something that you have learned, and you can also unlearn this, okay? Other ways to get some pleasure, it's by cultural conditioning. So this is exactly what I was telling you in the beginning, how much pleasure we should get from food. For example, when there's a wedding or Thanksgiving, for example, or birthday parties, weddings, holidays, Christmas time, so all this that we have been used to, and everybody is doing it in the same way, this is also creating this pleasure, this desire, okay? So for example, if you think about Thanksgiving, I tell you Thanksgiving, and automatically your brain has recorded those images of a lot of people, not anyone, it's people you love normally, your family, it can be also some friends, okay, and a lot of food. Everybody's happy, everybody is telling beautiful things, and the experience, it's so amazing. And just by thinking Thanksgiving, you automatically are starting to feel this desire for that moment, okay? And when you are thinking this, you start to have thoughts about, for example, Thanksgiving, and you are thinking things like, oh, I just can't wait to be there, or I just can't wait to eat that, okay? So when you tell yourself, the stories you tell yourself about food matter a lot, because they are creating this over desire, okay? So be aware of your thoughts. Okay, so fortunately, this is not happening automatically. It's not because we feel an over desire that we are going automatically to eat, even if sometimes it feels like it's automatic, okay? Normally there's a decision-making process before that, okay? And in this decision process, there are two parts of our brain involved. We have the primal brain, which is our ancestors' brain. It is very simple, basic, and it functions only with this motivational triad, which is seeking pleasure, avoiding pain, and efficiency, okay? So we can see it is located right in the middle of the brain. And it would be like our toddlers, So our primal brain, it's not worried about the consequences of their actions, okay? So they just want it all, and they want it now, right? So it would be something like this. And then we have our prefrontal cortex, which is much more evolved. It's the one that we are using, and it's very good on all, which is planning things, executing things, okay? It is located right there. And it would be like the adult that say, okay, let's do this. No, we are not going to eat right now. We are going to eat it maybe tomorrow. We can plan it for tomorrow, okay? So it would be the other part. The thing is that we are about 95% of the times working with this primal brain, okay? This is how this world works and goes right now, okay? So the idea is to start involving this prefrontal cortex more and more in our daily lives, okay? So the solution for over desire, first of all, avoid all those things that are creating this over desire, okay? So even if you feel that you desire that so much, honestly, the more you reduce and the more you practice on the other way, instead of I desire this, I eat this, I desire this, I eat this, it's about I desire this and I'm not going to have this, I desire this and I'm not going to have this. So this is the way we recondition our habits, okay? So reduce this and you're going to see that your cravings, urges reduces as well dramatically, okay? Plan your meals ahead of time as well. This is the way that we can very easily involve our prefrontal cortex in our daily life. Our prefrontal cortex, I mean, when we are planning things, our meals in this case, ahead of time, we are going to make much better choices, okay? So if you come back from work, it has been a very stressful day, you arrive at home, you have nothing in the fridge, you are going easily to find a solution that it's not very healthy, right? Instead, if you have already decided what you are going to have the previous day, and you have ensured that you have all you need in the fridge, or even prepare it in advance, there's more chances that you keep eating healthy things, okay? Then increase your self-awareness. So increase this capacity of being aware of the stories you tell yourself about food. This is very important, okay? This is something I'm going to explain you a tool that I have for this, that it's amazing. And then last but not least, find pleasure in other areas of your life, because if you want to lose weight permanently and you are going to take out a lot of joy that you are getting, a lot of pleasure that you're getting from food, you need to redirect that pleasure into other areas of your life. Otherwise, you're going to make it much harder for you. Okay. I don't know if you have any questions. I suggest you to, just for technology reasons, suggest you to wait until the end. Okay. Emotional. Okay. This is when you say things like, eating helps me feel better. Okay. And it's true that food neutralizes our emotions, and not only the negative ones, but also the positive ones. And this is happening because actually food is going to increase the feeling of our positive emotions, and it's going to reduce the feeling of negative emotions, okay? And also food is going to provide us with pleasure immediately. This is what I've just told you about dopamine. And also because we have been socially conditioned or culturally conditioned to be emotional eaters. So for example, I remember when I went to my pediatrician, I had my vaccination, and at the end, he was offering me a candy, okay? Or every time something has happened that was very hard for me, my mom, with the best intentions, always moms, we know, was offering me something to eat, and especially something sweet, okay? So I am telling you this because now that I have kids, it's like, wow, I am questioning a lot of things, especially in this sense of telling, well, maybe this is really something that I want to work on. And now I am conscious how many times. Sorry? Sorry. So this is something that I am now aware of it. And this is something that I definitely don't want to I don't want to give this to my kids, you know? So the solution, feel your feelings, okay? And urges. When I say this is very easy to say, but we don't know exactly how to do it. I mean, I know how to do it now because I have been studying this, but at school, we have never been taught anything about emotions. And that's also the reason why we are emotional eaters, okay? We don't know anything about emotions, and we think that when we feel bad, we should feel better. And we know this because some of, for example, people who loves us is going very easy to say, hey, don't be sad. It's just a matter of time. Hey, you have to come on, let's get outside, and you just need to distract yourself. You don't need to be like this. Hey, how are you doing? You should be better now. You know, you don't have any reason to be sad. So it's like we have all this pressure, external pressure against the opportunity for us to feel our feelings. Okay, so this is really the work we need to do, because when you learn how to process your feelings, you no longer need food to cope with, okay? And I say food, but it can also be alcohol, it can also be compulsive shopping. So how many things, think about how many things you are buying, things that you are not even using just because it feels good, okay? Or which is consumption feels good. And, you know, publicity knows this very well. So when you watch the TV, you're going very quickly to realize that if you want to feel better, you just have to eat something, buy something, or drink something, okay? It's about consumption, okay? And all this just to avoid a negative emotion, which is something that we are meant to experience in this, you know, we are meant to experience this half of the times. Okay, but because we don't know how to experience this, we are all the time trying to escape from that part it's the 50% of our lives. Okay, so feel your feelings and urges and learn how to manage your mind. What does it mean exactly to learn how to manage your mind? This is the structure that I was telling you before, the tool that I use to increase my self-awareness, and it is called a model. This is the tool that I've learned at the Life Coach School, where I have been certified. And it told us that this model has 5 components, which are circumstances, are the things that happens in the world. Then we have thoughts, we have the emotions, actions, and results. So things that happens in the world, we have no control over. And from what is happening, we are always going to have a perception. We're going to interpret that in a X, Y, or Z way. Okay, so we are making those circumstances mean something. Okay, so this is our perception, our thoughts. Those thoughts are going to create our emotions. Those emotions are going to drive our actions or inactions, and those actions are going to have a result. So what's important is that actually circumstance we have no control over. However, we have all the control in our thoughts. Our thoughts are basically our thoughts. We can control our thoughts. Okay, so what is happening here? Okay, so what's important here is that our thoughts create our results. Okay, so we cannot change the circumstance, but we can change our thoughts, and by changing our thoughts, we change our emotions, our actions, and we have a different result. Let's put an example for you to help you understand this. So let's say that somebody has been restricting a lot in the last 2 or 3 weeks, okay? And she goes on a scale expecting that she is losing weight, and actually the number on the scale goes up, okay? It says plus 2 pounds, let's say like this. This person, one of the thoughts that she can have is, I will never lose weight. I've been trying everything. I've been restricting a lot during all this time, and number on the scale is still going up. Okay, so when she thinks, I will never lose weight, she's going to feel frustrated. And when she feels frustrated, she starts to overeat. She ruminates a lot. She second guesses the diet. She's not following the meal plan. She's not exercising. She starts beating herself up. She evokes all the time that it didn't work. It's like, it's like looking for evidence for all the times it didn't work, and therefore I will never lose weight. So this is another layer that she is adding. And she's also evoking the worst case scenario. When we pay attention to all those actions, overeating, ruminate, second guess a diet, not following the meal plan, not exercising, beating herself up, evoking all the worst case scenario, and so on, the result that she's creating, we can see clearly that she is not allowing herself to lose weight, which totally relates to that thought, I will never lose weight. Okay, so just be aware of this. How much your thoughts are creating your results. Okay, because it is exactly like this. So what you think, it's what you end up creating. Okay, so this is really how to manage your mind. This is a tool that it's amazing, amazing tool. It is very simple, but you can use it. There are several ways to use it, and it's really fascinating. So this is also something that I teach in my program. Here's a testimonial of Tiffany.
Hi, my name is Tiffany, and Laura has been my health coach for the last 10 weeks. I came to her, I was tired, I was lethargic, and I had cravings all the time. And I had some really bad habits that I had my whole entire life, like including stress eating and binge eating, probably eating way too much in one setting just because it tastes good. So she was really instrumental in helping me transform. I've lost weight. I feel fit. I feel healthier. And but more importantly, she helped me completely change my mindset. So if you're looking for somebody that is going to help you get the results you want, but not only that, but to make them stick, she's going to be the one that's going to be helping you do that. And her personality is just, she's such a joy to work with, and very knowledgeable. I can't recommend her enough. So good luck on your journey.
Let's summarize a little bit what we have been seeing today. So nothing worked before for you because you didn't get to the root cause. And again, it's not your fault. Okay, it's just what diets told us to do. Okay, just to treat overweight or obesity as a symptom. Okay, we have to go to the root cause in order to get a lasting weight loss. This is very important. Okay, and it requires also a holistic approach. So not only working on what you eat, which is also important, it's much more what you eat than how much you eat. So it's not about counting calories. This is really about the quality of the things that you are eating, when you are eating, and especially why you are eating. So these are the three causes that we have been seeing today. The first one, overhanger. The solution it's really make a lifestyle change. That's all. Okay, so really see what you are eating, change what you are eating and when you are eating. Okay, over desire, it's also about the things that you eat, but also managing your mind. This is a little bit more about mindset. And emotional eating, it's about managing your mind and also managing your emotions. Okay, so I know that today probably you have learned a lot of things. Some of them may be new for you and you may be tempted to try it on your own. You can try this. I mean, you have been doing this for a while, and it didn't work finally if you are here, right? So there's another option, that it's to look for somebody to be accountable to, somebody that is cheerleading you, and especially somebody that knows exactly how it works. Because today I've told you a lot of things, but I didn't get into the details. For example, how to combine foods to accelerate your weight loss, or to ensure that you are not gaining that weight back, okay? Or how to create a protocol, which is a very easy, simple way to eat, and how to adjust it by yourself. I'm going to teach you this, how to adjust it depending on how much you weigh, and also how to feel your feelings, how to manage your mind. Those two are skills to develop, which means that you need to practice a lot and have a supervision, okay? And not to talk about all the things that you need to overcome between those. For example, manage urges or deal with your inner critic. This is very important too, okay? And how to do things that you know that you have to do even when you don't want to, or lose weight regardless the circumstance. This is really the number one cause of all my patients. When I was in the medical practice, all those patients were gaining weight because they were not managing their mind and their emotions in regard of something that was happening in their life. They were fired, or they were divorced in a divorce process, or whatever. Okay, so this is something that you need to decide, okay, which is the way that you choose. And whatever you decide, just ask yourself this question: how can I do this in a doable, sustainable, and loving way? Okay, so how can you do this? And this is when I present you my brand new program, which is called Your Last 20 Pounds. Okay, it's a holistic approach. So it's basically all the things that I've told you today. Okay, it's based on this mind, emotion, and body approach, which is mind. It's actually where everything begins, where your overweight begins. It begins always in your mind, because even if you know what you should be eating, your mind is the one that decides, no, I'm not going to eat broccoli today. I'm going to order a pizza. Okay, so manage your mind. It's very important. It's where everything begins. Emotions are always also very important, because emotions, it's what drive you to overeat. Okay. And then the body, it's just we can say it's a physical manifestation of how we are managing our minds and our emotions, but it's also something that we need to take care of, because we only have one body. And it's not only, I'm not only talking about nutrition and not only talking about losing weight to have a healthy body. No, I'm talking about much more than this. So how to really create a healthy lifestyle for yourself. Okay, so we are also talking about how to manage your stress. Okay, how to have a restorative sleep. This is also very important, and or which is balance between movement and rest as well. Okay, so this is a one-on-one program, totally tailored to you. It's a 4-month length. There's a weekly call of 60 minutes. There are some worksheets for doing, in order to do a more deep work, okay? You can access your recordings, and there's also a welcome box with some tools that we are going to use during this time, okay? And there's an early bird bonus for those who schedule a call in the next 74 hours. It means until Saturday, okay? And this early bird bonus, it's a very good one. It's unlimited support between calls 24/7. This is really a gift, because you have access to my brain, my support, my cheerleading, everything during every single day during all those 4 months, okay? Of course, what it's guaranteed, it's losing those 20 pounds, okay, at the end of the program. I mean, if you're not, if you, at the end of the 4 months, you haven't lost 20 pounds, I'm going to support you for free, of course, until you lose those pounds, okay? But I'm going to tell you, most of my clients has reached to lose those 20 pounds in 2 months, maximum 2.5 months. So it's exactly by Christmas. That's the way I present you this, okay? By that time, you're not only going to lose weight permanently, I mean, you're going to finish your lifetime struggle with weight. You're going to feel lighter to do the activities that you want with your kids, your family, running, hiking, whatever. You're going to feel proud of what you see in the mirror and who you see in the mirror. There's really a totally transformation. Actually, lasting weight loss is a change of identity, okay? That has to happen before losing that weight. This is also very important to know. You're going to feel more confident. You're going to increase your self-esteem, your security, and you're going to finally feel free from all which is food, weight, diet. You cannot imagine right now how much energy it takes from your daily life. So I have some questions for you. I don't know if this is something that you would like in your life, if you are ready to take what it takes to achieve this, if you're interested in doing it faster, better, and cheaper. Okay, if your answer is yes, this is my invitation for you. Book your free consultation. It's a non-strings attached consultation. It's a 60 minutes that we are going to spend together figuring out what is not working and how to make it work, okay? And at the end, if you are a good fit, because this program, it's not for everyone, okay? If you're a good fit for this program and we have a good contact, we can discuss about working together, okay? So here is my Calendly. I'm going to write this down in the chat, okay? I don't know if you have any questions.
Hi, Laura. This is Cristina.
Hi. You.
You got me at hello, so I already booked my free consultation this Friday.
Okay, that's
So
fantastic.
I'm ready to do some changes. So I
Perfect.
appreciate the work that you do. I'm from Puerto Rico. Do you speak Spanish, right?
Hablo español.
Super. Okay,
Ningún
because this
problema.
is
No
better to
problem.
talk
Yeah,
in our,
yeah,
in my
totally.
language.
So no
Okay.
problem for this. No problem.
Yes. So I think I will talk to you on Friday,
That's
12
perfect.
o'clock. Okay.
Okay, that's
Thank
great.
you.
Do you have any question for all the things that we have been discussing, or it's okay for you? Or otherwise, we discuss
Yeah,
on.
I think we can discuss because
Okay.
I understand most of the things that you discuss, but I'm in a process right now that I recognize that I need help. Just
Yeah.
I know most of those concepts, but I can't do it by myself right now. So
That's
I need
exactly what it's
to
happening.
find the way to the. I need companion or mentorship or someone that I need to be accountable
Yes.
to someone.
That's what I am here for. So okay, let's discuss on Friday.
All right. Thank you,
Okay.
Laura.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Okay.
Thank you. Do you have any other question? Debbie?
Hi, Laura. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly well.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I came in late. I thought it was at 11.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
Um,
It's okay.
Yeah. So I just, I guess as I shared with you, I don't have a weight problem,
Mhm.
but I find it just fascinating the connection, on how we perceive food and how we perceive ourselves, and
Mhm.
especially the negative association that we make with food. Like
Yes.
instead of having broccoli tonight, I think I'm going to order a pizza out. And I think a lot of people get hung up on that. I know that I'm one of them.
Mhm.
Fortunately, due to the health issues, because I had obviously too much inflammation and ended up being insulin resistant and
Mhm.
had some other health complications, I was sort of forced into a different lifestyle of eating, which I'm in love with.
Mhm.
And I did get a clean bill of health. I had some precancer that's gone, healed up from insulin resistance. But my fear is I came at it in a backwards way. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Totally. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
And that's the reason why it is very important. This is always what I tell to people, because I have a lot of people that came to me just because I want to lose weight, just because I want to feel better with myself when I look in the mirror, which is okay, but it goes far beyond this. For me, it's like being overweight. Actually, it's just the point of the iceberg. So
Yeah.
it's just a translation of something that is happening inside our body that we are not seeing. So
Right.
this insulin resistance, there's a lot of insulin resistance underneath, and also this inflammation and also gut perturbation. So there are a lot of things that we can work on in order for all the chances that we got, if we don't work on this, all the chances of developing other diseases get reduced by working on those three things.
Right.
And at the end, we are going to see that our weight reduces, but it's just, it's the external thing that we see. And the best thing is happening actually inside of us. Okay, so this is the part that nobody, or not a lot of people, unfortunately, are seeing until they are ill. Okay, so
Right.
this is my purpose as well. That's why I work especially with women who has insulin resistance, because they are a little bit more aware, and also they have more trouble to lose weight. Okay, so it's even more difficult for them than for other people who has not an insulin resistance to lose weight. But there is a way, and the gift that we have at the end, it's like the weight loss, lasting weight loss, it's just a byproduct.
Yes. Yes.
So it's
Yeah.
really about working on those things, on those root causes that are creating that overweight. But it's just the sign that we see. It's just an opportunity actually to change everything.
Right, right. And, and for me in particular, like I said, I already lost those 20 pounds. I'm not overweight. I don't have a weight problem. I never really have. I have a stress problem.
Yes.
And
Yes.
yes. And so because I have been under this stressful situation for so long, I fear that, you know, I know the right things, but when you're dealing with stress, then your cortisol levels rise, and it does start to affect your health. You do tend to pick up negative ways of viewing things, and especially when you get is knocked down as hard as I did this last year. And so that's the little hiccup for me right now. Yes, I've worked on the eating part, and I'm sleeping better, and I exercising, and I'm doing all those things. But I still am hung up on the emotional side of it. And I'm not, with that said, I am not an emotional eater.
Mhm.
So I just mean more in the ways of what stress can do, to your body. It's terrible. And the inflammation
Yes.
that occurs because of it, it's just terrible.
Exactly. This is about cortisol. So when we are
Yes.
stressed, our body is going to release a lot of cortisol, which is our inner steroid. But actually, cortisol is going to help us. It's actually sugar. Okay, and
Hmm.
why this release of cortisol is happening? Because when we come back to our ancestors' period, there were a lot of, or punctual, but a lot of life-threatening situations, and we need that bunch of
Right,
energy to escape
right,
from that. Okay,
right.
and
The,
the
I,
energy that we used, that our ancestors used at that time, at that moment, to escape from the predator, was burned at that time. So they were not storing fat. Now we
right,
are in a completely different space, which is we are all the time stressed. It's much more a psychological stress, which is chronic too. And there's not really a life-threatening situation, but for our brains and our bodies, it's still as if it was that life-threatening situation. So
exactly,
which means
exactly.
that our body is going to respond exactly the same way with this release of cortisol. Okay, so this bunch of energy that arrives suddenly in the bloodstream, but the difference right now is that we are not consuming that energy because we are all the time, seated here with our computers or in the couch, so we are not moving. And especially we are not, when we are feeling stressed, we are no longer escaping. We are not doing that exhausting exercise in order to escape from that predator. So
Right,
that's the
right,
problem. Our body still responds as a life-threatening situation with this cortisol, and it's all the time. When it becomes chronic,
right.
we are
Yes,
less aware of how much it's impacting in us. So it's like we are getting a certain toleration. So it's like the first time you are very stressed because somebody shouted at you, but when this person is shouting at you every single day, you feel like it's no longer a stress, but it's still a stress.
right,
So you are
right.
not
And
aware of
yeah,
it.
and if you go to a regular healthcare professional, they'll tell you, here's a medication, which I won't, which I refuse to do, which is why I have a functional doctor that is in care of my health.
Mhm.
But you would just think, I know now when my cortisol levels are raised, I know the effects on my body, and I can have no stress in my life, and then buggers will raise up. Now I have that under control now, thankfully, through diet and exercise. But literally, I would wake up, like you're saying, in that flight or fight mode in the middle of the night,
Yeah.
almost with a panic attack, like somebody was sitting on my chest.
Yes.
And that was quite disturbing, I guess you could say.
Mhm.
Because the loved one had passed away. I was a caregiver for an elderly woman, and she chose not her daughter, she chose me, and it was a legal process. And so these adult children came and literally attacked me. And so it was a court battle. It went back and forth. She eventually died, and I honored all of her wishes. And so things have been settled in my life, right?
Mhm.
That stress has been gone
Mhm.
since February. But even months after that, I was having those issues with my cortisol levels. They just kept rising in the middle of the night. Like I said, thankfully now, it I've healed up from it. I'm sleeping, but I still feel like the negative part of the mental strain that it caused on me
Mhm.
was so much that I don't want to go back to that place, if you know what I mean, because I'll be honest with you, Laura, that's when I went back to my unhealthy eating ways,
Mhm.
and I ended up getting a reoccurrence of insulin resistance.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
So that's kind of where I'm at right now with it. And I was getting hyperglycemic. It was aggressive. It came back aggressive, and it
Yeah.
really startled me.
But Debbie, I think that the most important here is that you have identified, you know exactly what you need to work on, which is your
Right.
emotional part.
Right.
Okay, so this
So
is the
that's
step.
where I need the help. So I don't
Exactly.
know if that's something, if I even fit into this, because I feel, you know what I'm saying? I don't, I have gotten a lot of it under control, but that's the part of it. I don't want to become, I guess I'm not necessarily an emotional eater, but I can't really say that 100%,
Yeah,
because when I'm stressed, I want the pizza. Honest to God, I don't want the broccoli.
yeah. And the question is, what are you actually doing at the end? Are you eating the pizza or the broccoli?
I'm eating the broccoli.
Really?
I am now, but but I wasn't while I was stressed.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
And also you have to be sure that even if you make the right choice, let's say it like this, you decide to eat broccoli, you
Yes.
need to be sure that you are processing feelings, because even your emotion, I mean. So if you say, okay, no, I am going to eat broccoli, but you're still feeling deprived, or
Yeah.
restricted because you wanted that pizza, this is actually not processing your feelings, and this is going to fire back in the future. You know what
Right.
I mean? So it's
Yes.
about learning how to process our feelings first. And it's very simple. And when you realize how much you have eaten just to avoid working on your negative feelings, it's like, wow,
Right.
it's
Right.
amazing.
Yes.
I
Absolutely.
think
Yeah.
that that's the work for you, to work on this emotional part, to learn how to process your emotions.
Right. Right. Because I understand fully the benefits of eating this in this healthful way. I mean, it's been an eye opener. I mean, I just feel so wonderful, and it has to be a way of life for myself and for everybody. you
Mhm.
know Even just upping my lentils and upping my beans, and replacing some of the meat I was eating. I couldn't believe it. So I feel like, for me, I've overcome so much already. I feel like I have that, but the most important part really is that emotional part. So there is a big chunk of it.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
if that's something that we could work on as I continue with my journey,
Mhm.
yes, I think that would be a good thing.
I think that what I suggest you, it's to book a call. We discuss a little bit more in detail,
Okay.
and we can discuss about how we can apply this. So if you don't need to lose weight right now, I can adjust this for you.
Right, yes, because I really don't. I mean,
Okay.
truthfully, I'm in a size 6,
Yes.
you know,
Okay.
maybe a size 8. I'm tiny, but I'm only 5'1", so 20 extra pounds on my frame was a lot.
Yes.
But 20 pounds off of my frame was also a lot,
Mhm,
you
mhm,
know.
mhm, mhm.
So I feel good about that part. I've always been a petite, smaller woman, battling sometimes that extra 20 pounds, but never really
Yeah.
having a weight issues, just a lot of stress.
Yes. And this is also very important.
Right.
It can cause
So yeah.
gain weight, but it can cause also other diseases.
Well, when it was so crazy because with the insulin resistance, those 20 pounds would not come off. I
Mm.
don't care what I did. And, and I tried not to put the pressure on regarding, oh, I can't eat this or I need to try this. But yet you do,
Mhm.
you get frustrated and you do find yourself getting caught up in a trap that you don't want to be in.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, all right, well, I can do that. I'll go ahead
Okay. Okay.
and schedule the first one with you and we'll go from there. How does that
Exactly.
sound?
Perfect from my side.
Okay, all right. And if you can adapt it for
Yes,
myself,
for
that
sure.
that would be wonderful. Because this way of eating is a way that I want to continue with. I don't want it to be something that I bounce back and forth. So
Okay. Let's do this.
okay. All right.
Okay. Thank you, Debbie.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Laura. All
Have a
right, take
great
care.
day.
Yeah,
Thank you,
bye-bye.
everyone, for your time. Bye.